Hola, everybody. So, in today's installment, the question that I was asked that I'm going to be answering this way is 5 suggestions on how to get back to lifting and eating healthy after a long break. And this break could be a few months to a year to longer. It doesn't matter how long the break is. If you need to come back and revisit these points, feel free to. Um, also, I would like to say that in this video, the first part will be the 5 points that I'd like to make. And then the last part, I'll share a little bit of my personal journey and what I got going on and why coming up with these was very important and helpful for me and why I'm so excited to share because I know it's helped me. So I hope it helps everybody else. So the first point is find your why and how. So, in this one, I want you to think about setting reasonable goals and realistic goals, but also understanding the reason why you want to get back into said exercise. We'll just use lifting for example, because that's where I'm at, and that's what this question was. But this could be used in any form of exercise, um, whether it was running, yoga, whatever. And find out why you're wanting to do it. What is your driving force behind why you're wanting to get back to it? And really, like, you can write this down. You can just sit and think. You can reach out to me, whatever it is, however you want to assess that and see what it is. Why? What is your why do you want to get back to it? Why do you want to go back to what you were doing before? Was it something that you loved? Is it more something for validation? What is your why behind getting back to it? And setting goals, will help you attain it a little bit easier, unless you're just like, oh yeah, I want to get back to, in my case, powerlifting. I want to get back into powerlifting, and not having any goals into that and not thinking about my why into that. The chances of me continuing it and actually going through with it are probably a little lower. So setting goals that are realistic and reasonable are really helpful to help you take step forward, and of course, like, these goals can also be short term and long term. If you want to end up doing a meet again, if powerlifting is what it is, you want to run a 5K. So you would start out, that would be a long term goal. Short term goal would be like, I want to lift 2 to 3 days a week, and that's it. Especially if you're not doing anything at the moment, or you're really inconsistent with stuff, setting reasonable goals that are small um, can help kind of build those habits back up. Um, and going into our second point is to be patient. I struggle with this so much. And I think because I'm a very all or nothing person. Um, and, being patient for me requires me to take a step back, to reassess, to know that it's going to take work, it's going to take time. I didn't lose this consistency overnight. It wasn't something that just boop, I just stopped doing and then all of a sudden it was over. It was over time for me over the course of a year. It's going to take time to get back. So be patient with the process, enjoy the journey, because if it's something that you've enjoyed in the past, what you get to look forward. How fun the training is, like looking forward to those exercises, hitting new PRs, all of that stuff. It's so much fun. So be patient and kind with yourself as you're starting to, come back into that space. And progress isn't linear. So it's not like it's day one, baseline, and then, in 10 days, you're going to be way up here. There's going to be a lot of dipping and dropping and everything else. So be patient. Please be patient. Do yourself a favor and be patient. So our third point is to start slowly and with the basics and the foundations. So again, I'm going to use powerlifting as the example. You don't want to go into throwing, 225 on the bar and repping that out, or trying to rep that out. Or thinking that you can do 5 sets of 5 at a heavy amount of weight or anything else. Like, think about where you started when you first started. You're doing 2 sets of 12. You're doing a set of whatever. Incorporating, finding something that works and taking those nice easy steps up to that top part, to where you are in meet prep, you are like really pushing yourself, you have really extended long workouts, because chances are, like, wanting to do these 2-hour long workouts is probably not going to go. You're probably going to be like, I don't want to do this. Or you're going to be excruciatingly sore. And if you start with the basics and the foundations, chances are you're going to be able to get progress a little bit easier, just like you did in the beginning. And you want to meet yourself with where you're at right now, not where you were. Your ego wants you to go with, oh, well, when I stopped lifting, I was able to rep out 225 for however many reps. And so I'm just going to go back to do that. Or, 135 was a good place for me to warm up. That might not be the case right now. Start with where you're at and don't be afraid to drop weight, to, bring it back to learning the foundations of a squat, of a bench, of a deadlift, of whatever lift you're trying to do, whatever form of exercise. This can kind of give you a chance also to reassess your movement patterns and making sure that everything is moving well. So then when you do get heavier weight on the bar, you're not going to have nagging injuries. And also with going slowly and focusing on the foundations and the basics, you won't be injured. But if you do try to go, oh, I'm going to work with 225, I'm going to work with whatever, you put yourself at a risk for injury because your body isn't able to handle those loads anymore. So thinking that you might be able to, but your body may not be able to handle that right now. And you could put yourself out for risk of injury, which will be the point that I'll come back to with my personal experience. But the fourth point regarding nutrition is going to be think about healthy habits that you had in the past. Think about ones that were helpful, that were easy for you, that were accessible for you, and do those again. And again, not trying to do all at once, not trying to be like, oh, well, I did this, 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 and this, and I ate all these things, and I was on this meal plan, or I did this diet, or whatever else. Like, don't try to put all of those things back because, again, you didn't put all those things together all at once and then you were at this pinnacle of wherever you were at before you stopped. It took steps for you to figure those things out. So start implementing them easy, especially when it comes to your nutrition. What are healthy eating habits that you had that really helped? For me, some of the things that I've been doing is tracking my food is a really easy way for me to see and be conscious of what I'm eating. Now, it's not for everybody. Some people can become obsessive over it or really focus on the numbers. And that's something that I understand. So that's not something that I always suggest for people. You can even write it down if it helps you just to see what it is that you're consuming. And for me, I'm not worried about hitting particular macronutrient intakes right now. For me, it's just opening my eyes to what I'm eating. And a lot of it is seeing how much fiber I'm getting, vitamins and minerals that I'm getting if I'm meeting those amounts, and protein intake, especially with lifting, which is very important for women. It's very important for everyone, but we as women usually don't eat as much protein as we need. So that's why I'm tracking. And another thing that really helps me is meal prep, especially carbs, having some sort of, we made lentils this past week, and it was nice to have those in the fridge because all it is, you scoop it up and you have an easy lunch with an egg or whatever else you want to put on it. But those are things that helped me in the past that I know that I can go back to help me make healthier choices. And again, baby steps. Don't try to do everything all at once, even with your lifting too. Make sure that you're not putting yourself into this huge program of, you're working out 5 days a week and you have to do cardio the other two. And, you're doing 5 sets of 12, or you want to do a conjugate program or something else that's very taxing on your body. For one, your body's probably not going to be able to handle it right now. You're going to be sore as hell and you're not going to want to do it. So take baby steps with this, start slow. And then the last point 5, is get back to doing exercises that you enjoy and have fun with your lifting routine. Have fun with your exercise routine. Don't go back into doing something, that you hated. Like, you're not going to continue it if you hate it. So do something and find a routine, find some sort of exercise, like selection that you enjoy. Pick your favorite exercises, or like try new ones. And now is a really good time to kind of play with things that you like, things that you like like haven't done before, if you want to incorporate it, however you want to do that, like have fun, do exercises, do find a way to exercise that's enjoyable for you. And you might even find out too, like that your old way of exercising or lifting wasn't really that enjoyable for you anymore. Like it might have been back then, but with all the changes that you have been through, that form of exercise and lifting that way isn't that enjoyable for you anymore. And that's okay. That's all right. Like it's good that you're changing. If that is the case, if not, if you're like, oh shit, like I really miss this, then awesome. Get it. But lastly, the biggest one, I think, too, to kind of wrap it all up, I'll put this is number 6. But get help. Get help and reach out if you need it. If you're confused, if you don't know where to start, if you are in a position to where it's hard for you to kind of like, I know I can do this weight. I've done it in the past. I'm going to do it again. Like you kind of can't get out of your own way. Then reach out for help and somebody else can help you. I definitely can if you are struggling with thinking about exercise routines, selection, modalities, days of the week, how you're going to split everything up. I can definitely help with that and help you either come up with one yourself or I can come up with one for you. So yeah, like if that's something that you are interested in, like let me know. But again, it doesn't have to necessarily be a coach like me. Hiring a coach or getting a coach or buying a program. It could just be finding a lifting partner, finding somebody to go to the gym with you, or work out at your house, or go for a walk with you. Someone that can do that activity with you, if that's something you want to do. And again, if you've found that helpful in the past. Or like a support person, a community that's supportive, or an accountability partner. Any of those things can be really helpful to get you kind of back on track with exercising and eating well. And know that if you don't feel like you have someone like that, I'm here. I got it. You can count on me. Message me, whatever you need. I'm here. I will gladly be a person that you can count on to help you stay accountable or to help you. I obviously can't be lifting partners right now, but I can definitely help you to be accountable and to help support you as well. So that's the end of the 5 points. So if you're just here for those, I'll see you. But a little of what's going on with me and how this kind of ties in with what I've got going on right now, especially with the point number 3 of starting slowly with the basics. I definitely let my ego get in the way of things currently with getting back into lifting. And recently, this past week, last week, I was deadlifting. And of course, the deadlift is one of my strongest lift. It always has been. And so I was warming up and, just kind of getting back in. I found a beginner program, just kind of going through it, and it asked for, I think it was like, 2 sets of 5, 3 sets of 5, something like that. And I could definitely lift the weight. I moved it. It moved easy. I even dropped the weight down a little bit just because I was like, nah, like I don't want to get in my own way. Come to find out, because my body couldn't handle what was going on and what I was doing, and my foundations weren't as strong as they were before, I ended up with a hernia. So I just recently got diagnosed with a hernia. It's lovely, but it kind of put everything in check. And it really and why I'm sharing all of this with you too is because sometimes we have to get out of our own way and we put ourselves in danger of ourselves and we end up injuring ourselves, which is what happened to me. So if any of you are wanting to get back into lifting, especially powerlifting or anything that is very demanding, take a step back. Like start with low weights, even if they feel super easy. Like the weights that I was moving felt like nothing, but obviously my body and my core wasn't strong enough to hold that. And it made me really think about what I'm doing and how I'm going about it. And I can't do what I used to anymore. Like I don't have that foundation. I'm not lifting as consistently as I was. My core isn't as strong as it was. There are other things that I need to focus on in order to get back to the point where I'm able to lift that weight without hurting myself. But it also really, really, really helped me figure out my why. I will never, ever, ever let my body and take for granted my body And I now understand how important exercise and movement is for me. Not only because, it feels good, it takes care of me. It makes sure that everything is functioning well, that I am not able to get injured because I'm strong. And, so it was a gut check. I'm having to pull back a lot. Um, no surgery as of right now, which is good. Um, so we'll see. There's also a couple other things that I'm changing as well, just to see how it helps with it. So it's right now it's just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, what is painful, what's not. Uh, and but yeah, if you want any more, if you want to talk more about that or anything else, I'm free to do so. But I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, any other tips that you want to help other people with, if you're kind of going through the same thing, feel free to drop them in the comments. Because again, like these are things that kind of resonated with me, and tips that you think could be helpful for others could definitely be. So put them out there. I hope this helps. I will see you all later. Adios.